I'm Albert Zecher, and I serve as chair of the board of directors at UC Law. Before we begin our program, it is now our tradition to do so at the start of every commencement. We acknowledge today that 2 decades before the founding of the school, Sir Ernest Hastings was involved in the establishment of a militia and other acts that resulted in the brutal slayings of the people who lived in the Round and East Valley areas of California. Currently, UC Law is engaged in restorative justice initiatives that will provide educational opportunities for their youth. While we cannot erase our past, we can make sure that the past does not continue to impact the future of the Yuki and other indigenous people of the Eaton and Round Valley areas. On behalf of the Board of Directors, faculty, and administration, I take great pleasure in calling to order this commencement ceremony for the University of California College of the Law at San Francisco. Today, we celebrate with pride your dedication and your accomplishments. As UC Law is at the crossroads of ever greater achievement and reputation, your graduation today is not only the fulfillment of your dedication and work, but it is an extraordinary contribution to the success of the college and to your colleagues sitting alongside of you. You have worked very hard to earn your degrees, and we are here today to bestow them upon you. We thank you, and especially your family members, your community, and your friends who may be here today and may not be, but are here to celebrate your milestone. And I would ask that all of you join me in a round of applause when thanking your family and the team. Students, this is not a goodbye. When you leave here today as a graduate of UC Law, you join a worldwide community of alumni making our mark in nearly every field of human endeavor. You join us now as future lawyers, judges, legislators, mediators, legal scholars, and partners in business who will go on to make a difference in this world. We look forward to your accomplishments and welcome you as an alumnus. On behalf of the Board of Directors, it is again our honor to share this important day with you. Together we are UC Law. Now it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce the Chancellor and Dean, David Faigman.
I think you're going to stand up and give me a standing ovation. Thank you, Director Zecher, and good afternoon. Welcome to the graduates of the class of 2025. On behalf of UC Law San Francisco, I welcome you and congratulate you and your families. We are here today to recognize and honor our graduates, of whom we are extremely proud. John Adams said, quote, "There are 2 types of education. One should teach us how to make a living, and the other how to live," unquote. I am confident that UC Law San Francisco provided the former, and I hope that we have contributed to the latter. We also want to recognize and thank the families and friends of our graduates. None of us succeeds alone. However far we travel in this world, it is our family and friends that have given us a safe harbor from which to venture forth and to which we can always return. Please join me in recognizing your families and friends whose love, support, and encouragement have made this day possible. Thank you to all. We also extend our deepest gratitude to the members of our Board of Directors, Foundation Board of Trustees, and Alumni Association Board of Governors. Representatives of each of these boards join me on stage today. Their steadfast commitment has helped strengthen the foundation of our institution and ensured its continued growth. Because of their support, we're able to graduate students who are empowered with opportunity, challenged by excellence, and prepared for a world that needs their talent and their hearts. Today's celebration is not only a milestone for our graduates, but also a reflection of their tireless dedication to this community. Please thank our several boards for their commitment to you, our graduates. Thank you. Please also join me in thanking your faculty. Thurgood Marshall famously said, "None of us got where we are solely by pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We got here because somebody, a parent, a teacher, an Ivy League crony, or a few nuns, bent down and helped us pick up our boots." We are very fortunate indeed to have a faculty who are dedicated to their profession, their school, and most importantly, to you, their students. To the faculty, thank you. I also want to thank those who make this event possible. There are more than 40 staff members from across the college here working to make this day memorable and special for all of our graduates, guests, and families. Thank you to all those who have kindly given your time today and for all that you do throughout the year. Thank you to our great staff. At UC Law, we believe the delivery of pro bono services is an integral part of legal education and the practice of law. The full term is pro bono publico, which translates as for the public good. Winston Churchill describes succinctly what we get out of giving. He said, quote, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." The California Bar, state bar associations across the country, and the American Bar Association all encourage attorneys to devote at least 50 hours annually to the provision of free legal services. The class of 2025 took this pledge to provide pro bono services to heart, with many of today's graduates participating in the program. Of those participating in the pro bono program, 92 members of the class of 2025 have met UC Law San Francisco's pro bono goal and are recognized as members of the Pro Bono Society. 41 of these graduates went even further and met the aspirational pro bono goal set for licensed attorneys and are recognized today for outstanding achievement in pro bono. Together, the class of 2025 provided more than 11,000 hours of pro bono services. At a very conservative billing rate of $100 per hour, these graduates provided over $1.1 million in legal services. We hope that this spirit of pro bono is a commitment all of our graduates will continue to live up to throughout their professional lives. Will the graduates receiving pro bono recognition please stand so we can congratulate you and thank you. Thank you. UC Law San Francisco takes its obligations as a public law school seriously and with great intentionality. For instance, our Legal Education Opportunity Program, LEOP, turned 56 this year. LEOP has become a national model for how higher education can open doors for those not conventionally welcomed into the halls of power and prestige. This year, our first generation program gives us a reason to celebrate another cohort of students who have met and surpassed a specific challenge. The first in their families to go to college and the first to go to law school. Our first generation students comprise approximately 22% of the class of 2025. To be sure, like all of our graduates, they have certainly had the love and support of family and friends who helped them navigate that untrodden path. But being the first to actually walk that path is an accomplishment worthy of special recognition. I now ask those first-gen students in the graduating class to please stand so we can recognize and applaud this great accomplishment. Congratulations. Graduates, you have earned this day. It is the culmination of hours of hard work, perseverance, and achievement. And in so many ways, this day is also a gift. As you prepare for the privilege of walking across this stage, it is important for us to pause and remember a classmate who we wish could do the same, Khaleed Rasheed. In the summer of 2023, our community was grief-stricken when Khaleed, a rising 2L, died unexpectedly in a tragic car accident. Khaleed was a cherished member of the class of 2025, and his memory has been woven into the fabric of our time together. In addition to being an exceptional part of this class, Khaleed was a beloved friend and family member. We are thankful to have almost 60 of Khaleed's friends and loved ones joining us today, who we recognize are carrying both pride and grief. Khaleed's absence is deeply felt in this moment. Please join me in a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you. Khaleed's life serves as a lasting reminder of the importance of using our time and gifts well. While Khaleed was a part of our community for too short a time, he left an indelible mark. As such, I am proud to share that we are working in partnership with McManus Faulkner, a firm where Khaleed worked before starting law school, to establish a scholarship in Khaleed's memory. This scholarship will support future UC Law San Francisco students who, like Khaleed, have earned undergraduate degrees from San Jose State University. And now, in recognition of Khaleed's hard work, contributions, and place within this class, I am honored to invite Khaleed's father, Khaleed Rasheed, to come forward and accept a certificate of academic achievement in Khaleed's name. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce the first of our three student speakers. The valedictorian is a member of the graduating Juris Doctor class with the highest grade point average after completion of 5 semesters at UC Law San Francisco. This year's valedictorian is Judy Shamshikh. Judy is a proud native of the Bay Area. She earned her undergraduate degree from UC Davis, where she majored in political science and minored in statistics. Judy graduated UC Davis summa cum laude and was a member of the University Honors Program, where she received recognition for her thesis on data privacy laws in the United States. At UC Law, Judy was a student associate in the Startup Legal Garage program, where she was selected for the Innovation Law Clinic Scholarship. She served as a senior production editor on the UC Law Journal, was the external vice president of the Business Law Society, and was a member of the Honor Society and Thurston Society. After graduation, Judy will be joining the San Francisco office of Latham & Watkins as a corporate associate. Judy, the microphone is yours.
Thank you, Dean Faigman. To the class of 2025, it's truly the biggest honor to be standing up here today, and I still can't believe it's already been 3 years at UC Law SF. When we started here in 2022, we all knew we'd work hard, read a lot of cases, and have long days of studying. But I personally didn't anticipate just how much joy and community this experience would bring, or how relevant this legal education would be to the world that we're stepping into today. During my first year, I was lucky to be surrounded by some of the brightest and most genuine, kind-hearted people. I met my best friend on orientation day, Sasha Feuerstein, and we proceeded to take 80% of our classes in law school together. I truly wouldn't be here without her or without our study group that we had our first year. One of the people who also made that first year so memorable was Khaleed Rasheed. He's not here with us today, but I know he's on many of our minds. Khaleed reminded us of the kind of person we all hope to be. He was someone who lifted others up, spoke with confidence, and somehow always kept a smile on, even in the final exam room. He was a very meaningful part of the community we built here, not just for me, but for so many of us on our campus. That sense of community is something I think a lot of us found over the past 3 years. There's something about being in this demanding environment that really brings people together. Despite law school's reputation for being competitive, I think many of us will remember these years not for the botched cold calls or the tense exam periods, but for the relationships we've built with each other. Maybe you found your people traveling to new cities for moot court competitions, whether that was to New York City or Carbondale, Illinois. Or maybe you met your people randomly in class because your seat gen glitched and you got stuck with a front row seat. However it happened, the people we've met and the sense of community that we built are what made showing up every day a little bit easier. Our professors also deserve a lot of credit for creating such a positive environment for us. They didn't just teach us what we needed to know to pass the class or graduate, but they went a step further. They pushed us to first understand the law, then to critique and question it, and to always consider its broader implications. And not to mention, they spent countless hours supporting us, answering our lengthy, off-topic hypothetical questions, and providing us with guidance and mentorship in ways that will carry forward. And of course, we also owe a huge thank you to the people outside of law school who stood by us, our families, partners, roommates, friends, everyone in the audience who took time off work to be here on a Monday, and many who traveled very far to be with us. I have to shout out to my boyfriend, Pierre, who traveled 14 hours to make it here today. It goes without saying that our communities outside of law school are made up of very patient people. They've had to accept less of us over the past 3 years, but they still always showed up. And they continuously made efforts to understand our world, even if they had no idea what we were talking about when we came home exhausted from a final, complaining that it was a racehorse exam. Today is about our accomplishments, but it's also about the people who got us here. The people we turned to for consolation when we were stressed, and the ones we celebrated our wins with. My first call in those moments of stress was usually my older sister, Corrine, who had the exhausting job of reminding me that there actually is a life to be lived outside of law school. I also leaned so much on my mom and my dad, who always keep me grounded and are my greatest inspiration. Many years ago, my parents immigrated from Syria, and they built an entirely new life here so that I could have the opportunity to receive an education in the US. And I have to say that they genuinely never put any pressure on me. Ever since I was a kid, my parents always told me that what matters most isn't the outcome, it's just knowing you gave your best effort. But more than anything, they led by example, and they truly showed me what hard work looks like. And on that note, I also want to acknowledge all the graduating students today who are parents themselves. Raising kids while being a full-time student is extremely impressive in this demanding program, and your kids have a lot to admire and look up to. Throughout this year, we've learned a lot from each other. As we know, our class is full of fierce advocates who admirably stand up for what they believe in. Just as importantly, our class is comprised of many compassionate, and open-minded listeners. And what's truly valuable is that in the classroom, we've seen and modeled what respectful dialogue and disagreement looks like. And this is largely because our class is diverse, not just in background, but also in thought. We have future public defenders and prosecutors in the room, patent attorneys, civil litigators, maybe some people who don't plan to take the bar or practice law at all. But we all share a common thread in that we've been shaped by the same education. An education that has taught us to think critically, to look at problems from every angle, and to never accept easy answers to complex questions. And now, after 3 years of reading, writing, and studying, many of us are officially done with being students. And it's no secret that we're entering the legal field in a chaotic moment where we're seeing basic principles of democracy being challenged. I'll leave the advice to the licensed attorneys sitting on stage because we're all in the same boat and we'll be navigating this together. But I do want to end on a silver lining and say that I really think we did something right by choosing to come to law school 3 years ago. Regardless of what the future holds, we've put ourselves in a position to think thoughtfully about many of the issues we're seeing in the news today. We're fully equipped to not only understand what's going on in the world, but also to educate the people around us who may not be paying as close of attention. So I'm confident that by choosing this career path, we've set ourselves up for success and have uniquely positioned ourselves to take on whatever comes next. So with that, congratulations, class of 2025. We have a lot to celebrate, a lot to appreciate, and a lot of great work ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Each year, the third-year council holds elections to choose who will speak on behalf of the class. The students this year elected to have 2 students deliver remarks to represent the graduating class. This year's speakers are LaJeanné Shelton from the graduating JD class and Paulo Maggisano from the graduating LLM class. Born and raised in San Francisco, California, LaJeanné Shelton is a first-generation undergraduate and law student whose goal is to give back to her city meaningfully. After graduating from Dillard University, a historical Black college with a bachelor's in psychology, she decided to attend UC College of the Law, San Francisco, under the California Scholars Program to gain the skills necessary to advocate for individuals who cannot afford legal representation. While at UC Law San Francisco, she served as the Director of Communications for the Black Law Student Association and as the Western Regional Chair on the Board of Directors for the National Black Law Student Association. LaJeanné is also a member of UC Law's award-winning trial team and a re-op student as well. After taking the bar in July, she'll be pursuing a career as a public defender. Born and raised in Rome, Italy, Paulo Maggisano is an LLM student at UC Law San Francisco. He is currently completing his law degree at Lewis University in Rome. During his studies, he participated in a 6-month Erasmus program in Belgium and an international exchange program in China, experiences that strengthened his passion for international legal practice. After graduation, Paulo plans to sit for both the New York and California bar exams and pursue a career as an international lawyer, allowing him to stay connected with the United States while working across global legal systems. LaJeanné, the microphone is yours.
Let me try to get through this without crying. Good afternoon, esteemed faculty, staff, family, friends, and most importantly, my fellow graduates of the class of 2025. It is truly a fantastic day. And it is a fantastic day because today marks the end of case briefs and cold calls, late night outlines, and last minute exam prep. It also marks the beginning of a new chapter that we worked so tirelessly to get to. But deep down, we are scared and anxious to read because we aren't quite sure how it ends. Will the story end the way we planned, or will there be a plot twist that no one would have expected? Will our story be a success? Now, I'll be honest with you. When I first got to law school, I thought I knew exactly what success in law school looked like. I had it all figured out. I'd written it down in my planner and everything. Get good grades. Get an internship that will have everybody talking. Join tons of student organizations. Impress the right people. Follow a straight path. Don't fall behind. Don't mess it up. You better win. And at some point during my time here, my mentality surrounding success did get reinforced. I mean, in law school, success is often measured in grades, clerkships, job offers, whether you're on moot court, ADR, trial team, journal positions. And I mean, don't get me wrong, those achievements matter. They do reflect discipline, resilience, the ability to survive and sometimes thrive under pressure. You should pat yourself on the back for all of those achievements. And for a while, racking up the positions, racking up the accolades, kept me going. Until someone a lot smarter than me, someone with a lot more experience than me, put the legal profession into perspective. During my 2L summer, I had the opportunity to work for the Alameda County Public Defender's Office. While I was there, I was at that computer writing motion after motion, and I won't lie, I got invested every single time. I poured my entire heart, my being into those motions. I was so sure I was gonna win. No judge in their right mind would read my paper and not agree with me. My motion was denied. I didn't win. And I spent a few minutes crying in the courthouse bathroom. It was more than a few minutes, but y'all have to understand, I really thought I failed. I was sure of it. And that was until my supervisor pulled me aside because she saw me starting to cry and followed me to the bathroom. After telling me I did a great job, she said something to me that changed my entire life. She said, if you spent your whole career measuring success and motions granted or denied, guilty and non-guilty verdicts, you will burn out, and the only person you will end up disappointing is yourself. You are the only one who can define your success. From that point on, I realized success is not measured in some predestined win or loss record. It doesn't come with a uniform, it doesn't come with a single name, and it doesn't look the same for everyone. For some of us, success may be stepping into a courtroom fighting for someone who's never had a voice. For others, it may be writing policy that helps shape a fairer future. For some, it may be paying off student loans and supporting our families, because we're the first in our family to get this far. And for many of us, success might just mean being happy, truly, honestly happy with who we are and the way we spend our days. You do not owe anyone a version of success that is not your own. So I sat and asked myself, what does success look like to LaJeanné, for LaJeanné? Well, it looks like getting the opportunity to work in a field I fell in love with, a field in which I can build my skills in advocacy. It looks like graduating with some of my closest friends. It looks like being able to start repaying my dad, who worked graveyard shifts in order to help me through law school. It looks like having the opportunity to stand in front of every single one of you and scream, "We made it." We are successful. Because let's just be honest, let's just be real. None of us would be sitting here if UC Law SF didn't consider us a success story. We have checked off all their boxes. The hardest part is over. Besides passing the bar. And also completing your first year on the job, but that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is that there is no one left to satisfy but yourself. As I draw to a close, I implore you to ask yourself what success looks like to me, for me. What will satisfy me? And whatever your answer may be, let that guide you. Let it be measured not only by what you accomplish, but who you become in the process. Let it be rooted not in comparison, but in conviction. Let it be something you choose, not something you chase. It has been my honor and my privilege to learn and grow besides you all. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Let's go and define success on our own terms. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, esteemed faculty, proud families, and of course, my fellow graduates. Honestly, if someone had told me a few years ago that I will be standing here today, giving this speech in another country, in a second language, in front of all these people, I probably would have laughed. But life has a fun way of surprising you, doesn't it? I was born and raised in Rome, and I never could have imagined that I will be celebrating such a big moment so far from home, surrounded by so many amazing people from all over the world, with my family watching me. But here I stand, not just an alum and graduate, but as someone who is incredibly thankful for this experience, for the people I've met, and for everything this past year has taught me. For us, international students, this journey started with a flight, but it was more than just changing time zones. We stepped out of everything that was familiar to us, our families, our friends, our routines, our comfort zones, and our languages. We landed here with a mix of excitement and nerves, wondering, will I fit in? Will I be able to do this? And now, looking back, we know the answer was yes. Yes, because we took that leap. Yes, because we made it through. And yes, because we had the courage to face uncertainty. We stepped into a completely new chapter of our lives, not knowing exactly what we will find. But we faced every challenge that came our way. We met new people, adapted to new systems and customs, and somewhere along the way, we even learned more about who we really are. Over the past year, we have grown in ways that reach far beyond the classroom. We have become more open-minded, more resilient, and more curious about the world around us. One of the most meaningful parts of this journey has been the people I've met, the friends I've made, the connections I have formed with people from different countries, backgrounds, and cultures. Differences that to some might have seemed like obstacles, but they were not. They weren't walls, they were bridges. Bridges that brought us closer, that helped us understand one another, and that made this experience deeper and more meaningful than we ever expected. We have come to understand something essential, that our differences don't divide us, they define us. They broaden our perspectives and remind us that there is no single way to see the world. Diversity isn't just something we have experienced, it's something that has shaped us and enriched us every single day. It has pushed us to listen more, to judge less, and to connect with empathy and respect. And as we move into whatever comes next, that will continue to be one of our greatest strengths. I have to be honest with you. When I found out there was a chance to give this speech, my first thought was, wow, what an incredible opportunity. But maybe it's not such a great idea. After all, speaking in front of all of you in a second language wasn't exactly within my comfort zone. But then I stopped and I told myself, isn't that the whole point of where I am today? Isn't this experience the result of a leap I took without knowing exactly what to expect? So I took a deep breath and said, all right, let's do it. Over the years, I have the chance to study in 3 different countries. And if there's one thing all these experiences have taught me, it's this. We are capable of so much more than we think. Each time, I started with doubts, but every challenge, every unknown, showed me that stepping outside our comfort zone was the key to growth. And that's what I want to leave you with today. Just that simple idea. Take that leap. When the moment feels uncertain, when your heart races, when your mind hesitates, that's when you jump. Because real growth never happens in comfort. It happens in motion. It happens when we say yes to life. There's a quote I love, and it's from Nelson Mandela. He said, "There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." And he was right. Don't play small. Don't think small. Always dream big and be big. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect version of yourself. You're ready now. You just don't know it because the fear is holding you back. The only thing standing in our way most of the time is our fear. But today, as we celebrate this milestone, we're also proving that we can push through it and that we're ready for whatever comes next, that we're ready to choose boldly. And that brings me to the words of our beloved Pope Francis, who once said during the World Youth Day, "Life is the time for strong, decisive, and eternal choices. Trivial choices lead to a trivial life. Great choices make life great. Indeed, we become what we choose, for better or for worse." His message is clear. Don't settle for the superficial. Aim for a life rich in meaning, built on choices rooted in love, purpose, and faith. So, thank you to my fellow graduates for sharing this here with me. To our professors and staff for guiding us with patience and care. And to our families and friends, whether you're here today or supporting from afar. Thank you for cheering us on every step of the way. Now, let's take a moment to truly appreciate this milestone. Let's feel proud of everything we have achieved. And then let's keep moving forward. Let's embrace whatever comes next with courage, confidence, and open hearts. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, students. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Goodwin Liu, Associate Justice of the California Supreme Court. Nominated by Governor Jerry Brown, Justice Liu was sworn into office in 2011 and retained by the electorate in 2014 and 2022. Before joining the state's highest court, Justice Liu was Professor of Law and Associate Dean at the UC Berkeley School of Law. That's that little school that's somewhere across the bay somewhere. His primary area of expertise are constitutional law, education law, and policy and diversity in the legal profession. The son of Taiwanese immigrants, Justice Liu grew up in Sacramento and attended public schools. He earned a bachelor's degree in biology from Stanford, a master's degree in philosophy and physiology from Oxford University on a Rhodes Scholarship, and a law degree from Yale. He clerked for Judge David Tatel on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit and for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the United States Supreme Court. He has also worked in the litigation practice of O'Melveny and Myers, served as special assistant to the Deputy Secretary of the United States Department of Education, and helped launch the AmeriCorps' National Service Program as Senior Program Officer for Higher Education at the Corporation for National Service. In addition to hearing cases, Justice Liu continues to teach constitutional law as a visiting professor at Harvard Law School, Columbia Law School, and Stanford Law School. He is an elected member and chair of the board of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He is also an elected member of the American Law Institute and the American Philosophical Society. In 2023, he was elected chair of the board of directors of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He also serves on the Council of the American Law Institute, on the board of directors of the James Irvine Foundation, and as president of the Yale University Council. He has previously served on the board of trustees of Stanford University, the National Academy of Sciences Committee on Science, Technology, and Law, the board of directors of the National Women's Law Center, and the California Commission on Access to Justice. Justice Liu, welcome to UC Law San Francisco.
Chancellor Zecher, Dean Faigman, distinguished faculty, honored guests, family, friends, and most especially the UC Law San Francisco class of 2025. What a happy day. I am honored to join all of you in this beautiful community. And when I say beautiful, I don't really mean anything particularly deep or meaningful. I just mean you look good. I mean, you guys look like a casting call for the next season of Suits. To all the family and guests who are here today, welcome. You have sacrificed so much physically, emotionally, and let's be honest, financially. How many of you are the first in your family to be a lawyer? Right? Well, parents, for what it's worth, your graduate now knows the rule against perpetuities, and your Thanksgiving dinner conversation will now include footnotes and citations. That's what all that tuition will get you. Graduates, let's do this one more time. Let's take a moment to celebrate your loved ones. So what I'd like you to do is please stand if you are able, turn around, And I want you to unleash your gratitude to your parents, to your grandparents, to the people who raised you, your siblings, your friends, your spouses, your partners. Every person who loved you and supported you, sacrificed for you so you could be here today. So, I understand from Dean Faigman that you just took your final exams and your grades won't be posted until the end of the month. So today you are participating in graduation, but you are not yet certified as graduates. Well, that is no fun. So today, I am issuing an executive order directing the faculty to award all A's for your spring semester. There's really no point litigating this, and I don't want to hear about any academic freedom or due process or anything. I'm just going to do it. Also, how many of you have student loans? Yeah? Well, you're in luck, because there's nobody left at the U.S. Department of Education to collect the money. Right? Nobody's home, so you're good. For good measure, though, in case any of you get into trouble, I've also decided that with that fake diploma you will receive today, I am granting each and every one of you a full and unconditional pardon for anything illegal you have done, are doing, or may do in the future. Why not, right? You know, we are living in some crazy times. I heard a rumor the other day that some people don't want judges wearing black robes anymore because wearing black is woke. Also, AI did a scrub of law schools, and it's going to rename Blackacre in your property textbook. That's woke. Black's Law Dictionary? Forget it. That's a banned book. No more citations to Blackstone. Too woke. You know, I'm pretty sure Blackstone wore a black robe and wasn't woke. But he did wear one of those pretty wigs with long curly hair, which does make you wonder about the transgender issue. How many of you are taking the California bar exam this summer? Good luck with that. I mean, good luck with that, yes. Some of you probably saw that the MBE, the multi-state bar exam, is going to be used for the July test. Now, you're going to have to study pretty hard for that, but let me tell you a story that's going to make you feel a lot better. So, 27 years ago, I graduated, as Dean Faigman said, from Yale Law School. Now, Yale is a school with a big reputation for legal theory and abstract ideas, but not so much for teaching black-letter law. So, I might have graduated from law school not knowing the elements of a tort. So when it was time to take the California bar exam, I, of course, did a bar review course. Now, for the first few weeks, I thought things were going pretty well. You know, I actually enjoyed the bar review course because it really made things so lucid and clear. That summer, I was working during the day, so I didn't have much time to study, but the material all seemed very manageable. Just before the July 4th holiday, the review course gave a practice test, 200 questions covering torts, contracts, property evidence, crim pro, con law, civ pro. The practice test was given nationwide, and they reported your score as a percentile rank in each subject, so you could see how you're doing compared to everyone else and how much studying then you need to do. Okay, so I take the practice test, had a very nice July 4th weekend, and then I get my scores. In con law, which is a Yale specialty, I scored above the 70th percentile. Not bad, okay? But in the common law subjects, you know, the stuff that state court judges deal with, I did not make the 70th percentile. No, I did not make the 50th percentile. I did not make the 25th percentile. No, ladies and gentlemen, in contracts, I will never forget this. In contracts, my scorecard said 3. Yes, 3. Now, as you recall, 3 is an unimpressive score on the 5-point scale for the high school AP exam. My 3 meant that I was in the 3rd percentile nationwide in contracts. 97% of people knew more contracts than I did, which meant that not only did I not know any contracts, but I was apparently very determined to prove that I didn't know any contracts. And it was the same for evidence, torts, property, where my scores were in the teens and low 20s. That July was the least fun I've had in a long time, but I did get my act together and I did pass the bar exam. So, what is the lesson of this story? The lesson is that if you graduate from law school knowing almost no law, not only can you pass the bar exam, you too can be a justice of the California Supreme Court. Okay, in all seriousness, this is a challenging time to become a lawyer. But there is also no better or important time to be a lawyer. You have signed up for dangerous work. In Shakespeare's Henry VI, Dick the Butcher is a henchman to the rebel leader Jack Cade, who is plotting to overthrow the government. And he says to Cade, famous quote, "The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers." Quoting this phrase, Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens 40 years ago spoke of, and I quote, "the function of the independent lawyer as a guardian of our freedom." And he explained that, quote, "disposing of lawyers is a step in the direction of a totalitarian form of government." In nations like Russia, Turkey, and Iran, lawyers have been punished for representing clients who oppose the government, for defending the oppressed against the powerful, for holding officials accountable to the rule of law. In other words, lawyers have been punished for doing their job. Our nation was born of a different tradition. Just think back to a snowy night in Boston in 1770 when British soldiers opened fire on a colonial mob and killed 5 men. The soldiers faced charges of capital murder, and no one was there to represent them until a young lawyer named John Adams stepped forward and not only took the assignment, but won the acquittal of all the soldiers. Public outrage over the Boston Massacre caused Adams to lose half his law practice. Yet Adams wrote in his diary that he did not hesitate to represent the soldiers because, quote, counsel ought to be the very last thing that an accused person should want in a free country. Now you can draw a straight line from Adams to this law school's posthumous degree holder, Clara Foltz, who advanced women's rights and the idea of a public defender for poor people accused of crime, to Thurgood Marshall, who risked life and limb to represent Black plaintiffs challenging segregation, to countless other lawyers who have defended unpopular people or causes on the principle that independence of the legal profession is vital to the fair and impartial administration of justice. That principle is under threat today, and you must stand strong and defend it. In 1953, at the height of the McCarthy era, Supreme Court Justice William O. Douglas spoke of the special duty of lawyers in our constitutional system. He said, and I quote, this is a long quote, "History shows that governments bent on a crusade or officials filled with ambitions have usually been inclined to take shortcuts. The cause being a noble one, for it always is, the people being filled with alarm, for they usually are, the government being motivated by worthy aims, as it always professes, the demand for quick and easy justice mounts. These shortcuts are not as flagrant, perhaps, as a lynching, but the ends they produce are cumulative. And if they continue unabated, they can silently rewrite even the fundamental law of the nation. Those of us who are custodians of the law have a special responsibility. We have the duty to see to it that the recurring episodes and expedients by which dominant influences exploit mistrust and intolerance do not become the accepted pattern." End quote. When you join the bar, you will take an oath to support and defend the Constitution. The legal profession is unique among professions in requiring this oath, and it will be your honor and duty to consider carefully what it means. If you need inspiration, just think back a few years to when you were applying to law school. What was your answer to why you wanted to become a lawyer? Was it to get rich? Was it to have a big office? Was it to help maintain the status quo? Or was it to serve humanity? Was it to help the poor or the powerless, or to speak for those who can't speak for themselves, or to make the world in some way more just and free? I know you came to this place with bright hopes and worthy aspirations. And my one piece of advice for you is that you print a copy of your law school essay, application essay, and keep it in the top drawer of your desk, no matter where you work, no matter what you do. Let it be your moral compass. Let it be your statement of values. Let it remind you why you chose to become a lawyer. Being a lawyer is a great privilege, and with great privilege comes great responsibility. In the days ahead, you will be tested. You may represent people or causes who are unpopular. You may have to make arguments that are hard. You may feel exposed or even threatened. But your clients and our nation are counting on you. My hope and my plea is that you stand firm, have courage, seize the opportunity to honor your oath, and when you do, you will protect the very soul of our democracy. So, today, we celebrate, we laugh, we salute your straight A diplomas and your unconditional pardons. But tomorrow, and every day thereafter, remember who you are. You are advocates. You are defenders. You are officers of the court, guardians of the rule of law, with the fate of our democracy in your hands. UC Law San Francisco, class of 2025, you make me proud to be a member of this profession, and as they say, I will see you in court. Congratulations, UC Law San Francisco, class of 2025. Good luck and Godspeed.
Thank you, Justice Wu. UC Law San Francisco has a proud and unique relationship with the University of California. Founded in 1878, the University of California San Francisco College of the Law was California's first law school and was considered the law department of the University of California. President of the University of California, Michael Drake, is unable to join us today. However, I am thrilled to introduce his designee, Deputy General Counsel, and most importantly, a class of 1994 UC Law San Francisco alum, Kelly Drumm, who joins us here today in honor of our relationship with the University of California and to confer your degrees upon you. Deputy GC Drumm is a testament to the transformative power of a UC Law degree. She is a first-generation student, a LEOP student, and president of the Native American Law Student Association. She joined UC's Office of General Counsel in 2006 as a member of the environmental group with special focus on matters involving the California Environmental Quality Act, the National Environmental Policy Act, endangered species statutes, and other land use issues. Prior to joining the office, Ms. Drumm practiced environmental law at Barr, Coffin, Lewis, and Trapp in San Francisco and served as counsel for the California Environmental Law Project. Please join me in welcoming Kelly Drumm to offer some remarks before the conferral of degrees.
Hello, class of 2025. What a joy it is to be with you here today. As an alum, as someone who has once sat exactly where you're sitting now, and as someone who knows how much this moment means. You've worked, you've sacrificed, you've persevered, and today you arrive not just at a milestone, but at a threshold. Now, I want to say something to you from the heart. We need you. The world you're stepping into is complex. It's fast-moving. It's asking hard questions about fairness, about truth, and about what it means to live in a just society. And what that world needs more than ever is you. Your intellect, integrity, your passion for justice, your ability to deeply listen, think critically, and act boldly. That's what UC Law San Francisco has done for you. They've prepared you for this moment, not just to practice law, but to live it. To stand up for the rule of law in boardrooms, courtrooms, and communities. To be a steady hand in uncertain times. You may not know exactly what's next, but that's okay. Know that your training, your values, and your voice matters. You are ready. So walk into the next chapter with purpose, with courage, and the quiet confidence that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and you have exactly what this moment requires. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Deputy G.C. Drumm. And now it is time to proceed with the awarding of academic degrees. As we begin the conferral, I would like to remind guests to stay seated at this time. We'll begin with our 3 master's programs, the Master of Health Policy and Law, the HPL degree, the Master of Studies in Law, the MSL degree, and the Masters of Law, the LLM degree. The UCSF UC Law San Francisco Health Policy and Law HPL program offers a jointly conferred Master of Science degree that prepares students to become change makers for health by providing students with the tools and training needed to effectively navigate and address contemporary legal and policy challenges in health and health science. HPL graduates have gone on to serve in top positions at academic institutions, medical research labs, technology companies, and healthcare facilities across the nation. Now in its 13th year, the MSL is a degree for professionals who wish to gain a sophisticated understanding of the law as it applies to their fields. The MSL program was originally aimed at health and science professionals, but has since expanded to include those who work in the fields of business and technology, as well as those professionals who wish to design their own program of legal study. In 2002, UC Law launched the LLM program, which draws students from all around the world. Will the candidates for the degrees of Master of Science, Health Policy and Law, Master of Studies in Law, and Master of Laws please stand? Deputy General Counsel Drumm, I have the honor to present these candidates for the rank of Master of Science, Health Policy and Law, Master of Studies in Law, and Master of Laws. They have successfully completed the curriculum of UC College of the Law San Francisco, certified by the faculty, and are entitled to the ancient rank of Master.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I hereby confer upon you, the graduates of the class of 2025, the Master of Science, Health, Policy, and Law, Master of Studies in Law degree, and the Master of Laws degree, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
UC Law San Francisco has been at the center of the legal community in the West for 147 years, and this is our 144th graduating class of law students. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please stand? Deputy General Counsel Drumm, I have the distinct honor to present these candidates, certified by the faculty, who have successfully completed the curriculum of UC College of the Law with straight A's in the final semester, for the degree of Juris Doctor. DC Drumm.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of California, I hereby confer upon you, the graduates of the class of 2025, the Juris Doctor degree with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Kristen Ann Hutchison.
You need to come up here.
Kylie Cook. Lillian Catherine Levy. Abia Farhan Bakai. Carice Poe. Edward J. Alfrey. Harleen Kalon. Morgan Lorenz. Dustin Powell. Khan Ryu. Megan Colleen Bokum. Lisa Anderson. Patricia C. Ryan. Regina Starkey Schmidt. Emerald M. Chapman. Alma Hernandez de Jesus. Jade Rosa. Ramona Peña Guerrero. Sana Ali Sayed. Gina Diane Cross. Janata H. Lopez. Hannah Ngugi. Kevin Liebig. Jeremy D. Lowe. Amanda Renee Salaya. Deidre Marcella Hedrick. And Kim Dolores Nam. Luis Figueroa. Anuj Pogdal. Marco Tueros del Barco. Lucy Dong. Paulo Maggisano. Matteo Rubelino. Guillaume Thiessen.
Congratulations.
Gurche Naz Tondoda. Yuli Elisa Swolk. Celeste Simoes Benoit. Noriyuki Isha. Hassam Azim Rana. Tamir Atkan Bayer. Agustina M. Travato. Nora Algusen. Yanina Volisna. Alicia Sharuk. Sarah Butterfield. Mariam Gavamichava. Suki Wong. Angela George. Yusra Akbar. Simon Wetzel. Angela Isabel Broker. Leonie Bernadette Ermer. Lisa Schneider. Lena Van Dyke. Bjarn Bachman. Alexander Winkler. Lisa Lou Eidenberg. Justin Thomas Heffelfinger. LaJeanné Helena Ann Shelton. Lucas Anderson. Olivia Sanchez. Judy Mona Shamshikh. Ju Huen Lee. Stella Lowe. Morgan Jean Hackey. Melanie Tyler Gorelick. Yasmin Kazini. Sophie D. Gagnon. Mimi Fima. Alicia A. Parikh. Kavya Narendra Babu. Quincy Marie Cross. Andrew Carnazola. Ryan S. Crawford. Rachel Brooke Herzog. Mackenzie Ann Pescarian. Donato Benedict Cipaneri. Iman Milani Dainabi. John William Adamson. Max Billsborough. Drew Moss Morgan. Neil Alexander Ontiveros. Cameron Robin Blakely. Gabriella Oak. George A. Zanakridis. Elton T. Rosicki. Amina Jones. Calum Lewis Kelly. Cyrus Corman Gill. Gage Xavier Fulmer. Hannah Catherine Wooten. Natalie Scout Coburg. Caitlin Elise Matz. Sarah Montgomery Dyer. Claire Elizabeth Bispo. Sean Pirelli. Sarah Ashley Fawn. Okay. Lauren Devens. Sarah Salamatian. Taylor Suen Lee Zhao. Nicholas S. Gleason. Gabriel Antonio Ignacio. Aaron Vitas Duyan. Braylon O'Neill Wilson. Jack Joseph Hobbs. Charlotte Dolanai Maslasli. Victor E. Torres. Linnell Mendoza. Emily Bouvet. Juan Quesada. Benjamin Keel. John T. Luciano. Shaksham Badyal. Alexander M. Zamamian. Francesca Fogno. Ruben Huerta. Hayden J. Richter. Gabriella Pono Zembanini Tato. Joanna Kate Conley. Bianca Angelique Vasquez Villo. Millicent Wong. Christine Fang. Riley O'Connell. Julia T. Fry. Cassie Larson. Priyanka S. Sen. Julie Parker. Jesse Damus. Karina Devi Etminani. Claire Rodriguez Stanley. Kelsey I. McGonaghy. Devin Audine Jack. Hannah B. Kim. Nuran Alhamden. Noor Sainid. Genevieve Furman. Aaron Kong Win. Coco Chung. Richard Young. Kyle Honea. Bianca Montez. Diego Lusich. Lucine McConjian. Sierra Nicole Singer. Reiko Kotata Harris. Lauren Mendenhall. Miranda Grace Lockman. Michaela Garib. Danielle Rahib. Edward Borja Salvaboro Jr. Zara F. Musafar. Jaredy Chung. Miriam Sahar Samimi. Norma Noemi Sanchez Garcia. Victoria Ong. Nina Yasmin Mazai. Catherine Hasu On. Janelle Garcia Rodriguez. Delani Logan. Hunter Profont Kamuro. Marie Vera. Andrea Olafson Chen. Roshna Mastikan. What? Diana Bond. Got it. Jasmine Flores. This one? Mayeli Soto Hernandez. Emily M. Rosas. Bryce Baresi. Ari Saba Kumas. Lorette S. Hanna. Amira Yvonne Tullock. Ethan Gu. Eric M. Renner. Adrian Howdegi. Michael Hawes. Gowrie Nair. Andres Salerno. Siri Dossary. Julie Ann Hunter. Sierra Bergen. Claire Baker. Sophia I. Alessino. Addison Millie Lawrence. Zoe Papadopoulos. Maya Bolaño Corey. Alexandra Maria Warren. Ellen Slatkin. Janice Jasmine Espinola. Vito Sebastian Qualia. Alyssa Faith Rugo Scott. Stephen Cosenza Jr. David W. Imhoff. Wesley Shaw. That's yours, okay. Michelle DeBattiste. Oh. Should I announce her? I don't know what happened with that. Hillary Elizabeth Slauson. Gloria Jacqueline Mejia Cuellar. Emily Tang. Connor James. Mackenzie John Calicrate. CJ Andrea Sumaja Molo. Zena Alchokachi.
Congratulations.
Justine Cato. Teresa Arumin. Oh, sorry. Colby Stapleton. Nasser Banihani. Sahil Patel. Jordan Casper Daly. Hamza Atai. Austin James Gent. Veronica Gordia Valdez. Joshua Villanueva. Conrad M. Catherine D. Binder. Grace Ann McElroy. Lily Sinclair Kaplan. William Vincent Castelli. Michael Diamondakis. Nicholas Joseph Gerasi. Aiden Rory Mitruka.
Okay, congratulations.
Micah Victor Lesh. William Nickerson Reardon. Sean Vincent. Samuel J. Abrams. Cassie Samantha Metler. Emma Adams. Jessica Glaubiger. Annalise Catherine Downey. Delaney Farley. Haley A. Slater. Nina Langley. Emily O'Brien.
Congratulations.
Bikramdeep Kaur Sidhu. Nikita Karana. Nithya Lalitha Karan. Dev Patel. Victoria Benitez. Justin William Capone. Julia Maria Quedas. Tony Marie Rendy. Sarah Jane Tom Catarazzoli. Vincent Trang. Stepan Stephen Naljan. Kabir S. Shahi. Armin Sarosian. Jose Guadalupe Cajero. Maria Hira Abero Sicaira. Gurmeet Chima. Benjamin Israel Duenas. Karthik Saravanan. Thomas James Sayer. Valeria Vera. Madeline Ruiz. Marina Usna Habsib Huck. David Eli Briseño. Madison Sterling Nicochet. Min H. Lee. Sai Sumana Kaluvai. Ria Mehta. J. June Shin. Philip Ryan Abarquez. Hanlon Scott Manchester. Alexandra Green. Sarah Marguerite Abat. Catherine Leanne Kinkel. Andrew Harris Jacobs. Sophia Kim. April Abarca. Cindy Cruz. Darren Vaughn. Ricardo Parada. Viviana Sol Prado. Kevin Jose Orozco. Michael Pachera Lee. Amin Labat. Megan Stupai. Angie Yee. Ashley Huynh. Lauren Hong. Allison Koo. Taylor Yoon Kim. Justin Kim. Drustin S. Pedroso. Arian Harris Ely. Malaysia Imani Parnell. Ayodele Abdul Hadi. Trudy Ann Williamson. Xiameng Yin. Elise Brianna Camille Carpenter. Gabriella Henry. Gloria Paulo Cenizo Ledon. Aileen Marquez. Chong Ho Lee. Yechan Lee. Ha Wang. Lena Deun O. Nathan Quach. Joran Tovera. Kevin J. Duong Lei. Christopher Kennefick. Hannah Michael Wyman. Sophia Cutler. James Robbins. David Wheeler. Michelle Wong. David William Gay. Jack Harrison McLean. Yusef Albazian. Natasha Emily Feuerstein. Mekanalani Rue Cash. Renee Lords Applegate. Lorenzo Martin Polito. Henry Cabrera Miranda. Jasmine Williams. Jenna Deneen Smith. Elizabeth Beshlikian. Malia Kai Char. Catherine Eleanor Bachman. Carson Nicole Stewart. Daniela Ganina Rosen. Gaina Rosen. Tiffany Benjamin. Anna Ali. Athi Nair. Timur M. Rahan. Amy Andro. Rowan Brooks Lane. T. Haro. Gillian Katz Lehman. Isaac Gabriel Gonzalez. Matthew Napoli. Natalie Dybeck. Catherine Hansen. Janae M. Sharp. Tyler Hodge. Ryan Partovi. Ryan Kenneth Wong. Brianna Lee. Sarah Fuji. Ashley Suhu. Kirk Ryder. Christian Barrett Rassinger. Avithage Reddy. Nathan J. Lessa. Silas Edmund Fitzgerald. Amanda Alexandra Byrne. Haley Robin Kutulis. Barry Rosenfeld. James Schreibstein. Sean John. Hunter Stevenson Jackson.
Congratulations.
Joseph Giannini. Dominic Ott.
What? We have more.
Ethan Choi. Caleb Krywenko. Laurel Bakishkan. Mallory Ann Wilson. Hannah Ray Lochner. Lorraine Fernando Manasan. Amelie Yock. Natalie Subia. Jennifer Lynn Dadabo. Joshua Paul Y. Verselis. Jonathan R. Theobald. Dylan Kaito Faulkner. Ari Dean Burlfine. Samuel Pretzel Rosloff. Rain Yakikian. Dorsa Gohardust. Nika Paradise Fala. Dennis Nathan Konevsky. Nika Gabrielle Ferrucci. Jack Davis Ryan. Christopher Hewitt. Candace Marie Denny. Arturo Villa. Alexander O. Klemenko. Armand Amin Ash. Matthew Anthony Huguet. Benjamin Williams. Zoe Morgan McDonald. Mary Claire Meisner. Ashley Elizabeth Schaefer. Abrielle Ivansevich. Mia Nieto. Aria Montazeri. Richard Cardenos. Hamna Sayed. Alexander James Taylor Gunning. Camila L. Kimbrough. Brooke Harris. Caitlin May Alcontin. Blanche Wu. Tianzhao Ashley Shang. Henry Fox Taylor. Isabella Rulon Stevens. Sky McIntyre. Mackenzie McLean. Selena Demos Renas. Done.
By tradition, the graduating class elects a member of the faculty to give farewell remarks. This year, the class elected Professor Karen Musalo. Karen received her undergraduate degree in comparative law from Brooklyn College and her law degree from UC Berkeley School of Law. Karen is the Bank of America Foundation Chair in International Law and the founding director of the Center for Gender and Refugee Studies, which is known nationally and internationally for its research. Litigation, legal advocacy, and training on issues of refugee protection. In addition to founding the center, she and her husband, Professor Richard Boswell, established the Haiti Justice Partnership, which is a long-standing collaboration between lawyers and law students at our law school and a partner law school in Western Haiti. The partnership has expanded over the years and now includes advocacy on behalf of Haitian asylum seekers who have fled the difficult conditions in their home country. Karen has written extensively on refugee law issues and contributed to the evolving jurisprudence of asylum law, not only through her scholarship, but through her litigation. For more than 3 decades, she has been involved in every major successful and landmark case establishing that women who suffer various forms of gender violence have the right to refugee protection. Karen is known for her pioneering innovations. She is the first U.S. attorney to partner with forensic mental health professionals in the representation of traumatized asylum seekers, a practice that has now become standard. She has also edited the earliest handbook for practitioners on cross-cultural issues and the impact of culture on credibility in the asylum context. Karen is a frequent media commentator and author of numerous opinion pieces on contemporary developments in the field of refugee protection. She has received numerous national awards in recognition of her work on behalf of refugees, including the 2010 California Lawyer of the Year Award, the 2009 Daily Journal's recognition as one of the top 100 lawyers in California, and the 2015 Federal Bar Association Immigration Section's Lawyer of the Year Award. In 2012, she received an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters from Lehman College. The same year, she received UC Law San Francisco's Rudder Award for Excellence in Teaching. It is now my distinct pleasure to invite my colleague, Professor Karen Musalo, to the microphone. Karen?
Class of 2025, thank you for giving me the honor of speaking to you, to your family, and to your friends. I am so proud of all of you, what you have accomplished to arrive at this point, and what I know you will accomplish in the years to come. I don't need to tell you that you are entering the legal profession at a very difficult time in our country's history. There is a deep polarization and profound concerns about the direction the U.S. is going in. There is also a very legitimate fear that we were nearing or already have arrived at what has been called a constitutional crisis, when the president would openly defy the rule of law by refusing to follow court orders. This concern has been so real for us that a number of faculty signed an open letter expressing the importance of abiding by the rule of law. And we were out on the streets on May 1st when lawyers and law students from across the country came out to publicly stand up for defending the rule of law. Many of the cases that have brought us to the brink of this constitutional crisis have involved immigration and the rights of immigrants. And that shouldn't be a surprise, given that differences of opinion about immigration have divided this country and were so consequential to the outcome of the 2024 presidential election. The winner was a candidate who rode to victory, at least in part, as a result of his anti-immigrant platform and promises of mass deportation. You may be familiar with many of the policies put in place in the implementation of that platform. The administration has closed the border to asylum seekers in violation of US law and international obligations, and suspended the entry of refugees who are languishing in camps outside the US and have already been vetted and approved for admission. The administration has ordered immigration enforcement raids in churches, schools, and courthouses in the search for undocumented immigrants. And it has swept up non-citizens, sometimes along with their US citizen children, and sent them out of the country with no access whatsoever to due process. Although recent polling shows some decrease in public support for such harsh policies, there are still a significant number of people who believe in keeping immigrants out and expelling those already in the country, and they believe that this is in the national self-interest. One of the principal reasons for this is that many people believe the toxic and negative narrative that immigrants take from our country rather than enrich it, that immigrants are a crisis rather than an asset. As lawyers-to-be, you know the importance of facts. You cannot develop a legal theory or persuasive policy argument if you don't research and understand the facts. So let's briefly compare the negative narrative about immigrants with the actual facts. But before I do that, I want to state the obvious, that unless you are indigenous to this continent or the descendant of enslaved people forcibly brought to this country, you are an immigrant or the descendant of immigrants. But now, returning to the narrative versus the facts, we hear a lot about criminality, but that is one of the most easily debunked falsehoods. Every study by reputable sources, including by the conservative Cato Institute, as well as a recent one carried out by scholars at Stanford covering 150 years, show that the rate of immigrant criminality is way below that of native-born Americans. How about economics? We are repeatedly told that immigrants hurt the economy, but there simply is not the evidence to support that either. You might recall that COVID-19 had a big negative impact on the economy, but the US recovered more quickly than many other countries because of immigrant labor. That isn't just my opinion. None other than Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell stated in February of 2024 that immigrant workers, many of whom were the essential workers who put their lives at risk throughout the pandemic, these immigrant workers improved the country's economic outlook and eased inflation by filling a labor gap. Immigrants contribute way more in taxes than any benefits they receive. And economists have recently predicted that mass deportation would be a drag on the economy, including draining $20 billion with a B, dollars out of Social Security annually. Large-scale deportations will also result in higher housing costs and exacerbate the housing crisis, given the key role immigrant workers play in the construction industry. I could go on and on about the benefits immigrants make to our economy, but recent developments in Florida are quite telling. The ramping up of enforcement action has resulted in a real gap in the labor force. So how is the state trying to fill that gap? I kid you not, by rolling back child labor laws. The proposed changes to state laws do away with progress in child welfare made over the last 25 years and would allow employers to hire children as young as 14 for an unlimited number of hours and days during the school year. It is likely that in this audience, I don't need to say more to make the point that the negative narrative about immigrants has very little to support it. I would say has nothing to support it. But it is believed by a large percentage of the population and has led to extreme policies which are not only cruel, but as I mentioned earlier, are among those which have brought us to the brink of this constitutional crisis where the executive would defy a court order. One of the cases leading to this showdown between the president and the courts is that of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Salvadoran husband and father of 3 young children. The Salvadoran husband of 3 young children who was arrested by immigration authorities in March of this year. Within days of his arrest, he was delivered by U.S. authorities to a mega prison in El Salvador, SECOT, designed to hold terrorists. The name of the prison is a terrorism confinement center. It is known for its inhumane conditions, including torture, which have resulted in numerous deaths of prisoners. There are many things unlawful about what happened to Kilmar Abrego, but one of the most striking is that he was not in the U.S. unlawfully. He had fled to the U.S. at the age of 16 to escape the violence of gangs that had terrorized his family with extortion and death threats. 6 years ago, an immigration judge granted Kilmar Abrego a protection called withholding of deportation, which unequivocally prohibited his return to El Salvador because of the death threats he faced there. Notwithstanding his protected status, he was arrested while driving home from work with his 5-year-old autistic son in the car. His wife, Jennifer, was called and told to pick up the child in 10 minutes or child protection would be called. And he was returned to El Salvador in direct violation of the immigration court's order. At first, when attorneys for Kilmar Abrego advocated for his return, a Department of Justice attorney admitted the mistake, telling the court that his removal to El Salvador was a quote-unquote administrative error. But since then, the administration has doubled down, firing the Justice Department attorney who admitted the mistake and attempting to justify its lawless action by accusing Kilmar Abrego, without credible evidence, of being a terrorist and refusing to bring him home. The administration has persisted in its refusal, notwithstanding a 9-0 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court on April 10th, directing the administration to facilitate Kilmar's return. The Supreme Court decision was followed by an April 17th ruling by the Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, rejecting the Trump administration's arguments against returning Kilmar to the U.S. The decision stated clearly that even if the accusations against him were true, he is entitled to due process before removal. Here we are a month later, and Kilmar Abrego remains imprisoned in El Salvador, and the administration continues to defy the court orders to facilitate his return. The story is not over, and lawyers and advocates will continue to show up in the courts and on the streets to demand that Kilmar Abrego's case, as in the cases of so many others, the rule of law be respected. And I am hopeful that collectively the rule of law will prevail. I want to return to the May 1st action I mentioned earlier, in which lawyers and law students across the country made a very public showing of loyalty to the Constitution and rule of law. At the demonstration I went to, one of the speakers reminded us that we may be the last line of defense, we, the lawyers, for the rule of law and for the protection of the most vulnerable members of our society. Justice Sonia Sotomayor drove that point home in remarks she made last week at a meeting of the American Bar Association. Justice Sotomayor said, quote, "Our job is to stand up for people who can't do it themselves. Right now, we can't lose the battles we are facing." End of quote. I agree with Justice Sotomayor. I believe it is my job to stand up for the people who need us, to defend their rights. And as I stand up, I am very grateful to have all of you standing up with me to fight for a more just and fair society. I will end with a few words of advice, very humbly given, that I hope will serve you as you enter these uncharted waters. First, know yourself and your values, and search out work which aligns with your inner truth and conscience. You will be so much happier in the long run if your work is in alignment with your ideals. Second, have gratitude for the community that supports you. And I see that community here. Your friends, your family, those people with whom you feel a deep kinship. You are not alone in your struggles, and in times of adversity, your community will be there to lift you up, as I'm sure they have over these last challenging 3 years. Third, and you often don't hear people say this to lawyers, but I say it a lot. Third, be kind and gentle to yourself. Even in the midst of the most challenging struggles, find the things that bring you hope and joy and strength, and no matter how busy you are, make the time for them. Self-care is not a luxury. You will find that you will be much more productive and successful if you do the things that nourish your body and your soul. Last but not least, be kind to others, because being kind to others is actually good for your own mental and physical health. And I'm not just saying this. Countless studies show measurable positive impacts on one's mental and physical state, from lifting your mood to lowering your blood pressure and cortisol stress levels that result from caring about and being kind to others. So being kind to others is another way of being kind to yourself. In concluding, I want to acknowledge that the next months will be stressful as you study for the bar and anticipate this next stage in your journey at a time of so much upheaval and uncertainty in our country. But please have confidence that you have what it takes to succeed. Work hard, but maintain balance. Remember to take care of and to believe in yourself. Congratulations, class of 2025. I wish you luck.
Thank you, Professor Musalo. On behalf of UC Law San Francisco, I'd like to extend the college's warm appreciation to everyone who participated in today's ceremonies. I ask that the audience and graduates remain seated until after the faculty begins the recessional. Then I ask that the audience remain seated until the graduates have exited the auditorium. Guests may meet graduates in front of the building on Grove Street. Congratulations to all of our graduates. This concludes our formal commencement program. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.